Sweet corn is bred to be harvested immature, basically. Field corn that you see in all the cornfields across the state of Nebraska is meant to be harvested mature and dry. And the kernel gets hard and it gets very plump and big, and it's allowed to dry down when it's harvested. This crop here is harvested when it's full of color and just before it starts to get doughy on the inside, and the sugar levels are at their highest, and the texture is good and the flavor is good. And obviously, as the name implies, it is selected to be sweet. Varieties have really changed over the past 10 years in particular. They've really bred up the sugar levels and the storage capability, and we've got some outstanding varieties now to work with. For the home gardener that's producing sweet corn in their garden, I think probably the biggest thing is not to try and do too small of an area or too small of a patch. Sweet corn relies on pollen falling off of the tassel onto the silk, and if the wind conditions aren't right, the pollen can fall several feet from target. And so if you have a larger patch, you enable that pollen to hopefully intercept the ear. And so, like, if you just had a few plants, like a short row like this, there's a pretty good chance they're not going to pollinate well. That is the biggest obstacle. In the home garden, my recommendation would be to plant in rows about 2.5 to 3 feet apart, and the plants should be spaced about 8 inches apart in the row. You can go a little bit wider, you can also go a little bit closer together, but as you go closer together, the ears will get smaller. Now, what we happen to be standing in front of right now is planted extremely close together. This is corn that was produced under plastic to begin with. It's crowded really tight together, and for every row of corn we have 2 blank rows. So we're getting extra sunlight from the sides, and we're getting extra nutrients from the sides to allow us to crowd these as close as we do. So as far as plant spacing, 8 inches in 2.5 foot rows is a good angle. Then moving on to biggest challenges, I guess, for producing sweet corn in Nebraska, aside from the water issue, and we know we're in a dry summer and obviously water's an issue. You got to keep it looking good. If you've got leaf roll, you know you're needing to put water on, and it's actually too late at that time. You're already producing stress in the plant. The other thing to watch for is as soon as you have green silks coming out on the ear, it's going to be under attack from corn borer. It's going to be under attack from corn earworm and western bean cutworm, and then if you try to produce sweet corn in the fall, you've got fall armyworm. All of those in and of themselves are bad enough, but then it's not uncommon to see them all at the same time too. So there are a few organic controls. There's some BT products, and I've heard of some people using oil and a syringe and inserting oil into the tips of the ear to prevent the larvae from tunneling into the ear. We don't, obviously we have acres of this stuff, we can't do that. So we're taking more sophisticated controls than that, but in the home garden it's going to be a problem there as it is here.